Right now at 6, the Joplin Humane Society is helping make fireworks season easier for pets.
And we have an alert day today. Dangerous heat returns. Heat index values upwards of 110. We'll have a look at that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we'll learn about a Fort Scott, Kansas restaurant named one of America's best.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, July the 2nd. Of course, we're live on KOAM and streaming live also on the KOAM Plus app for your exceptionally brilliant TV.
Yes, there we go. There you landed. You finally landed.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So wherever you're joining us, whether it's, on your television or maybe somewhere else.
Yeah, even on your phone.
We're glad you're joining us. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Much better on your TV, though.
Right.
It's a much clearer picture, and you can see all of my imperfections in high definition. Stunning
don't
HD.
Zoom in on us right now.
Stunning HD. We do have an alert day today, though. The dangerous heat returning across the area, unfortunately, and we can't emphasize it enough. That's why we have alert days for hot days as well. You've got to take it as seriously as you do severe weather.
Yes, you do. It can really sneak up on you.
It can, because the difference with severe weather and heat is there's nothing other than it being hot. You're like, oh man, it stinks out here. It sucks, but there's nothing that really tells you sometimes that you're in danger. So you got to watch for the warning signs. And a quick reminder, we do have a number of heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. We do have the heat advisories across the bulk of the area through 8 o'clock this evening, and then excessive heat warnings, heat advisories into Oklahoma through 9 this evening out there. And a reminder that those heat index values, 105 to 110, heat exhaustion is likely, heat stroke is possible. You've got to know the warning signs, and again, that will all be on our website as well. Future track, very straightforward for us today. We'll have south winds gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour. We're otherwise sunny and hot. Temperatures today into the upper 90s, maybe even some low 100s. And then later this evening, our northwestern counties could get in on some thunderstorm activity. And some of those could be strong, low-grade severe. And we're going to get into detail on that here in just a moment. Take a look at these temperatures. So you got a heat dome out to the west. To the east, though, Stockton, Monette, Cassville, you are comfortable at this point into the low 70s. Everybody else, upper 70s, right around 80 degrees. And you factor in the humidity and dew point. Take a look at some of these readings, especially, again, the further west you go into the mid and upper 80s for some. And Yates Center, it still just is blowing my mind. It almost feels like 90 degrees right now. It is 6 o'clock in the morning, and it almost feels like 90 degrees outside in the Yates Center. That's how hot it already is. That's your first warning sign as to how hot it's going to get later today. All right, through the day, very straightforward. We have rain chances increasing tonight through the next couple of days, but for today, hot, sunny. We've got mostly clear skies by 6 as clouds start to build in ahead of some of those storms out to the west. And again, those highs, upper 90s, heat index values close to 110 degrees. We also have rain chances, unfortunately, on the 4th. We're going to break down details on all of that in the full forecast a little later. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a motorcycle and multiple vehicle collision slowed the Monday afternoon rush on South Range Line. Joplin police say a northbound motorcycle's path was blocked as a tractor trailer pulled out in front of him. The motorcycle swerved toward the center line, striking 3 stopped cars waiting in the 36th Street turn lane. The 26-year-old male operating the motorcycle was transported to a Joplin hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. South Range Line traffic was diverted for about an hour as the rush was cleared. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, ahead of the Kansas primary in just over a month, KOAM is working to make sure you're informed about candidates for one of the most contested races on the ballot. That is the Republican and Democratic primaries for the 2nd Congressional District seat of Kansas. Now, 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats hope they'll be their party's nominee for the seat. We sat down with all of them asking questions about the economy, abortion, immigration, and more. They're all competing for the seat currently held by Jake LaTurner, who announced he would not run for re-election. You can find all 7 interviews unedited on our website and the KOAM Plus app for your smart TV. Well, it's time for another KOAM flag swap event. Today will be set up at Arvis Bank at 2023 East 32nd Street in Joplin from noon to 1:30. You can stop by during that time to trade in your old tattered American flag and receive a brand new one for no charge. We'll have 100 new flags to hand out, and the old ones will be retired according to the U.S. flag code. America's Best Restaurants Roadshow made a stop in Fort Scott. Brick Street Barbecue was chosen to be a part of the roadshow and record an episode for their web series. Lunch was open to exclusive guests from 11 to 2 p.m. while the filming of the episode was in progress.
To be able to be recognized for the successes that we have had is just a great honor, and there's still a lot of things that we have to work on. So just to be recognized enough for the effort that we put into it, it's pretty cool.
Now, there's no word on when the episode on Brick Street Barbecue will be published, but when it is, you can view it on the YouTube page for America's Best Restaurant Roadshow. Oh, the loud noises that come with Independence Day celebrations may not only be stressful for those with PTSD, but also for animals. The Joplin Humane Society is partnering with Pyro Pennies to host a silent fireworks stand where you can find fireworks that light up and sparkle without the boom. Because more dogs run away during the 4th of July than any other time of year, proceeds from this stand will be used to cover reclaiming fees at the shelter.
The Humane Society is already overflowing, and by the time we get this next influx because of pets running away from the fireworks, you know, it really is great to know that we can reunite them.
The Humane Society stand is in Webb City on West 4th Street. It'll be open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. through the 4th of July. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Disney is planning to nearly double its cruise ship fleet as its theme parks continue to struggle. Plus, the Supreme Court ruled former presidents have a broad immunity from criminal prosecution. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Mickey Mouse will soon be sending more of his friends out to sea. Disney is planning to nearly double its cruise ship fleet as its theme parks continue to struggle. Its rivals, including Six Flags, recently saw an average 25% increase in revenue. Meanwhile, Disney's theme park revenue has dipped and stocks have taken double-digit dives after a post-pandemic boom. The company is hoping to boost its business at sea with 3 new ships to help offset those losses, doubling its cruise revenue. Joining the ranks of other mega ships, the brand new Disney Adventure will weigh in a hefty 108,000 tons. The new ship couldn't launch at a better time for Disney, as other major cruise companies are seeing record demand for sales coming up in 2025. Well, yesterday, the Supreme Court opened the door for North Carolina truck stop Corner Post to sue the Federal Reserve. The decision could make it easier for businesses to challenge federal regulations. Corner Post is fighting a 2011 Federal Reserve rule on debit card fees that have long upset retail companies. The government argued Corner Stop couldn't sue because the 6-year statute of limitations was already up. But the truck stop did not incorporate until 2017 after the 6-year window passed. Corner Post argued that it should have 6 years after opening its doors to file a challenge. The Supreme Court's ruling here could open the door to other retroactive challenges to agency rules. There are continuing reverberations this morning after the Supreme Court ruled former presidents have broad immunity from criminal prosecution. Former President Donald Trump is now asking the judge in his hush money trial to set aside the guilty verdict. Jared Hill has more from New York.
This morning, new questions around whether the Supreme Court's monumental ruling on presidential immunity could impact former President Trump's felony convictions. Trump's lawyers are asking the judge in his New York financial records case to delay next week's sentencing and toss out the convictions, claiming some evidence came from his time in the White House and should be considered official presidential acts.
For the things that are just for the president, for those things that are just within the president's ambit, absolute immunity. For official acts in general, at least presumptive immunity.
The High Court's 6-3 decision will likely slow Trump's January 6th election interference trial.
There is an enormous amount of legal work that is now going to have to unfold over the next several months. That means the chances of a trial before the election are zero at this point.
President Biden criticized the first-of-its-kind Supreme Court ruling.
Today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits what a president can do.
Chief Justice John Roberts wrote for the conservative majority that the president may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers without specifying the limits of those powers. Justice Sonia Sotomayor offered hypotheticals in the dissent, quote, with fear for our democracy, predicting disastrous consequences as a result of the decision she called deeply wrong. Trump celebrated the moment, writing on social media, "Big win for our Constitution and democracy. Proud to be an American." Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
If Trump wins the election, he could pardon himself in the January 6th case, or his appointed attorney general could potentially dismiss the charges. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we have an alert day today for dangerous heat returning to the area. We're talking heat index values 105 to 110. Nothing on the Skywatch storm tracker, and it will remain that way through most of the day as we go through the afternoon. Then later this evening, we could see a few storms. It looks nice outside from our camera 7th and range line, but it already doesn't feel nice, and it's going to get hotter yet. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about some rain chances on the way when we come back.
Well, sometimes it takes meeting the community where they hang out to reach them. An Idaho police officer takes that approach literally, and it helps keep him young as an added bonus. Savannah Hankeridge shows us the unconventional way he's getting involved.
Community involvement is a huge part of being a police officer, which is exactly what Officer Benavides is doing here at Rhodes Skate Park today.
Down we go!
Officer Benavides isn't new to skateboarding.
I think it was about like 13, 12 years old. It was a good way to get from point A to point B, especially being a kid who can't drive.
Officer Benavides hadn't been on a skateboard in a while, but after moving to the Treasure Valley, he was inspired to pick it back up.
Just picked up skating again because I was like, it's beautiful weather out here. They have a really nice skate park. So I was like, you know what? I'm 30, why not do something cool again? Wind in your face, you can't buy that.
Like riding a bike, he says it was fairly easy to get back to the basics.
I'm thinking pop the board and jump and flick.
But skating with his gear on isn't always easy.
This stuff's heavy, so the vest, the gun belt, you don't get as low of a squat as you want, but it's always fun.
Officer Benavides says when he's out, he likes to learn from other skaters and help people who are new at the sport.
And you can tack it over like just small little, there you go. Just like that. It's a really good way to really interact with the youth and even people my age. The skate park's not just for kids, it's for adults too.
He keeps his board in the patrol car just in case.
And it's like 5-10 minutes at the most. It's just it's a nice little break while you're in uniform.
In and out of uniform, Officer Benavides is ready to protect and serve in any way he can.
To be completely honest with you, it's about the people. I like being there when I'm needed. Even when I'm not needed. There's times where you're just driving down the street and you just happen to be at the right place at the right time. Good, bad, indifferent. The beauty of this job is that we get to interact with the community, and the best of times, sometimes in the worst of times.
Reporting in Boise, I'm Savannah Hankert.
Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
And we've got that alert day today. Heat index values approaching 110 and thunderstorm chances on the way. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 621 on this Tuesday morning. We're starting with the future track for today. The majority of this day, it is sunny, it is hot, it is breezy. South-southwest winds gusting upwards of 30. Our highs today going upper 90s, maybe even a couple of low 100-degree readings out there. And then the alert day today is because we could see heat index values 105 to 110 degrees. Then, after 8, some of our northwestern counties especially could get some isolated to scattered thunderstorms, and some of those could be strong, low-grade severe, with wind and hail being the primary concern. Then as we go overnight, we'll see a brief pause, and by about 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll start to see more scattered showers and thunderstorms out there, and we'll see isolated to widely scattered showers and storms throughout the day on our Wednesday, and the storms we see then could be strong to low-grade severe, nothing too crazy. Now, unfortunately, except for the late evening with some pop-up showers, a lot of folks along and south of I-44 are expected to remain dry, which also means you're going to get hotter than your neighbors, going into the mid, maybe even upper 90s, where everyone else tomorrow will be into the low 90s. So still hot, but not as hot as those south of I-44. Then overnight Wednesday, and this is where our next risk for strong to low-grade severe storms comes in. We could see a thunderstorm complex rolling through the area late Wednesday into early Thursday morning. Now, future track is showing that this complex may try and get a bowing feature on it, and if it does, then we're looking at an increased risk for damaging wind gusts as this surges across the area, and it moves out of here pretty quickly. Then on Thursday, the majority of our 4th, we're partly to mostly cloudy. We are hot. Temperatures going back into the upper 90s, and we're going to spend the most of the day dry. Could see a couple of stray showers in the afternoon, and then by the evening, and this is the time I know everybody's watching, we have a cold front approaching. You can see it right there where those wind arrows shift. Doesn't do a lot for temperatures, unfortunately, but it does bring us the thunderstorm chances, and some of these could be severe with damaging winds and large hail, the primary concern. So Mother Nature bringing her own fireworks for the 4th. Now, the timing of this is going to be crucial for those with fireworks plans or for communities that have firework displays. Here it is at 5. By 7 o'clock, it's now shifted to the east, some lingering showers and storms back behind it, but the bulk of the severe activity now right along I-44 and pushing off to the east. If we get lucky and it holds this trajectory, holds this speed, holds this timing, then all we'll be left with by late evening on Thursday after sunset is some isolated showers and or thunderstorms. Most of us should be dry, but we want to keep a close eye on that. I'll look at that risk again tonight. We have that low risk into our northwestern counties, a low risk across the entire area tomorrow, and then we have an elevated risk over most of the areas we go into Thursday for strong to severe thunderstorms. So in addition to the heat, we got to watch the thunderstorms as well. UV index today is an 11. That's extreme. Burn time is less than 10 minutes for unprotected skin. If you don't have to be out, don't. If you do, make sure you're taking precautions. Heat advisories across most of the area and excessive heat warnings and heat advisories down into northeastern Oklahoma, with our heat risk at a major across the area for us, for the majority of the area for us today. In Joplin right now, skies are clear. 77, feels like 79. That dew point up there at 71. South breeze at 13. Around the area, we've got a heat dome out to the west. So the further west you go, the hotter it is. But take a look. Stockton, Monette, Cassville, enjoying the cool weather. The rest of us, upper 70s, around 80 degrees. And you factor in these dew points, which are at uncomfortable levels for most of us, as we're in the low, mid, and upper 70s. So muggy, soupy, and beyond. And you factor that in, and it still is just insane. Yates Center, heat index of 88. It feels like it's almost 90 degrees this morning. This is just the indication as to how hot it's going to get later today. Sunny skies through the morning, upper 80s by 11 o'clock, which will mean our heat index values will already be into the upper 90s by late morning. Those highs again, most of us upper 90s, breezy, south-southwest winds gusting to 30, sunny skies, and a reminder, heat index values upwards of 110 degrees. Clouds gradually increasing, thunderstorms in our northwestern counties late tonight, mid to upper 70s for our lows. We're going to go low 90s for most of us tomorrow. Upper 90s on Thursday. That cold front does help a little bit. A little cooler Thursday night, a little cooler on Friday. It doesn't last long, though. Temperatures go back into the upper 80s and low 90s with pop-up storm chances as we head into the beginning of next week. That's a check of your forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, those pesky common colds may have helped protect children from COVID-19. Researchers at Yale School of Medicine analyzed nasal swabs taken during the pandemic and found many children were infected with other respiratory pathogens. They found those frequent infections may have boosted their immune systems, protecting them against the worst effects of COVID. Well, a daily sauna may help prevent menopause-related weight gain. Researchers at the University of Massachusetts Amherst studying mice found 30-minute health treatments improved metabolic health and insulin sensitivity. They say heat therapy could be an effective, non-invasive solution for managing stubborn belly weight in both women and men. And specific physical exercise can combat nerve damage during chemotherapy. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine involving 158 cancer patients found those who performed sensor motory training alongside chemotherapy reduced nerve damage by as much as 70%. They also increased their perceived quality of life. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, the community of Carl Junction rolls up its sleeves for a good cause.
And we have an alert day today. Heat index values approaching 110 degrees. We'll have a look at that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Watered Gardens hopes to train strong community members with the help of some fireworks cells.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, July the 2nd. Thank you for joining us here.
Yes.
We're live on KOAM and streaming live on the KOAM Plus app. And, that's the thing. We started mentioning the KOAM Plus app more.
Yes.
We've got some new features launching soon.
Right.
And not to mention the number of people cutting the cord. I mean, that's how I watch us now.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you had to wait on the preview channel to cycle through, find out what was coming on, but now everybody does streaming and we're streaming too. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us wherever you are. And I wish I had good news for you. So I'll just stop talking.
Oh, finally.
That's
all it took. That's all it took.
I don't have good news, so I just won't tell you anything at this point. You sound just like my wife.
Oh, no.
Sometimes I get really energetic about a story I'm telling, and then she's sitting there like, are you going to stop anytime soon? It's all right, though. I do that. I tell stories. That's why I'm in this business. Well, let's start with a weather story. We've got heat advisories across most of the area and some excessive heat warnings back into northeastern Oklahoma. So with our heat index values approaching 110, that puts us here. Heat exhaustion is likely. Heat stroke is possible. And a reminder, we've got a number of safety tips for the heat on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Future track for today, clear skies, breezy, south-southwest winds gusting to 30. Our highs upper 90s. And maybe even some low 100s out there. And then by late this evening, our northwestern counties may start to get a few showers and storms. We're going to go over all of our rain chances in detail in a moment. Now, for some reason, out to the east, you guys are doing all right. Low 70s, Monette, Cassville, Stockton, but the further west you go, the hotter it gets. Upper 70s, around 80 degrees. And then our heat index values are just ridiculous for this time of day. Yates Center, it's felt like it's almost 90 degrees for the last hour or so, which is just mind-boggling. But it's also a reminder, we're not kidding, it's going to be dangerous hot today. With those highs again, upper 90s, maybe some low 100s, heat index values to 110, sunny skies, clouds gradually increasing this evening ahead of some thunderstorm chances over the next couple of days. And that does unfortunately include rain on the 4th. We'll break down the details, timing on these storms here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, drivers in Newton County can expect some lane reductions and delays on Route 86 beginning next week. KDOT says resurfacing on the route will start on July 8th. Crews will be working on Route 86 between I-44 and Newton County Route BB south of Joplin. Drivers can also expect flaggers and a pilot car to guide traffic. You can head over to KOAMnewsnow.com come this Sunday for more information. Well, yesterday, the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks and the Carl Junction Area Chamber of Commerce teamed up for a blood drive. Donors were invited to give blood and receive a $10 gas card as well as a limited edition beach towel. Event organizers say while there is always a need for blood, that need is even more so in the summertime.
There is always a need for blood, and we never know what type of blood we need. But when it's summertime, people are traveling, they're vacationing, they're on holiday, they're off schedule. So the need is increased because everyone's traveling. Sadly, there will be accidents, but illnesses, cancer, heart treatments still carry on no matter what is going on. So we always need blood.
The CBCO is the sole provider of blood, platelets, and plasma to over 40 hospitals in Northwest Arkansas, Southwest Missouri, and Southeast Kansas. All locally donated blood stays in the community. The Joplin Fireworks Stand benefits people looking for a new start in life. It's run by Joplin's Forge Center for Virtue and Work. Forge Center is a Watered Gardens Ministries program that helps struggling men develop virtue and a strong work ethic. Purchases of fireworks from Forge Center help to fund the program.
Well, we hope this year to net over $10,000, which is enough to put at least one of our students entirely through the program. Like I said, 16 to 18 month long program, and so it costs about $10,000 for one guy to move through it.
Forge Fireworks will remain open until 10 p.m. on July 4th. Well, it's not the 4th of July just yet, but the city of Girard, Kansas just couldn't wait to set off some fireworks. Folks gathered last night at the Crawford County Fairgrounds to enjoy the show. There were also vendors and food trucks set up ahead of time.
I love coming out to these events. I'm a very bubbly, chatty person, naturally, but more so in these events. So I just enjoy coming out and seeing everybody. You know, I see people around town, obviously, as a chamber director. You see people all the time. But this is everybody all together at once. It's one big family coming out to celebrate and just coming out to be together.
You can learn about other upcoming firework displays around the area on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A federal appeals court will allow a central part of President Biden's student debt repayment plan to move forward. And we have a hot and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, this 4th of July holiday week, many Americans will be hitting the water for recreation and relaxation. During the pandemic, boating and yachting exploded in popularity, and it's not letting up. Wendy Gillette reports on the yachting industry from Blue Lagoon, Croatia.
Bubbling jacuzzis at sea, elegant living and dining rooms, and marble bathrooms dazzled visitors at the Palm Beach International Yacht Show earlier this year.
There are some beautiful boats here, beautiful, beautiful boats.
The boating industry experienced unprecedented growth when COVID hit.
During the pandemic, all boats rose with the tide. Every small boats, big boats, everything grew.
While economic pressures have slowed overall increases, the premium yacht sector remains strong. The market forecast is almost 7% growth from 2023 to 2032. In Palm Beach, Fraser Yachts showed off 12 vessels for sale and 6 for charter.
I think the real driver for the industry is that we're selling a dream. And at the essence of that dream is sort of the ultimate personal freedom.
Now the company sees more first-time yacht buyers who are younger than 50 on average instead of close to 60.
But you don't have to be a multi-millionaire to vacation on a yacht. Some more reasonably priced offerings allow travelers to charter a boat for the week or just rent a cabin on board.
Cabins on a Dream Yacht catamaran, which we sailed on for a special raid in Croatia, include private bathrooms, plenty of storage space, and large beds. A cabin charter for 7 nights in some of Dream Yacht's more than 40 destinations starts at around $1,200, and a skipper charter with 8 guests is just over $3,500, which breaks down to $446 a person for a week.
People think that yachting is expensive, inaccessible, and not available to them. We're here to prove them wrong.
Cabin charters include water sports and a host, serving personalized meals, even cooking fresh fish from local markets. Croatia is the world's largest yacht charter market. As more tourists travel there and other popular yachting locations, first-time sailors with Dream Yacht have spiked 20% after the pandemic. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Blue Lagoon, Croatia.
A federal appeals court will allow a central part of President Biden's student debt repayment plan to move forward. It lowers from 10 to 5% of the amount some borrowers who qualify for a repayment plan need to pay. The ruling is temporary, so it's unclear if the financial terms could change in the future. The Supreme Court struck down the Biden administration's original loan program earlier this year. Well, mechanics for Canadian airline WestJet have agreed to end a strike that canceled travel plans for tens of thousands over a long holiday weekend in the country. The union is expected to vote on a temporary agreement, which was not made public. The strike started Friday night and caused the cancellations of hundreds of flights. And Sweden will now allow grandparents to be paid paternal leave to take care of their grandchildren for up to 3 months of a child's first year of life. The country allots 16 months of parental leave per child, and some of that can be allocated to grandparents. Sweden was the first nation 50 years ago to introduce paid parental leave for fathers as well as mothers. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got an alert day today for the dangerous heat across the area. Heat index values approaching 110 degrees out there. We're going to start a quick look outside. Haven't done that so far really this morning. And this is our camera on the Cornell complex. Already breezy. The wind isn't going to really provide much relief, but we will have south-southwest winds gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour. Clear skies from our camera 7th and Rangeline as well, and from the MoDOT camera 32nd and Rangeline in Joplin. Plentiful sunshine. That sunshine is going to be what causes our problems for us today. Heat advisories across the area, most of us until 8 this evening, and then you go into Oklahoma, excessive heat warnings and heat advisories, and those all run through 9 o'clock this evening as well. So with our heat index values of 105 to 110, that puts us here where heat exhaustion is likely and heat stroke is possible. So you absolutely want to make sure you're taking precautions, and keep in mind we have all these heat safety tips on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Future track just heading into the evening. We are sunny, we are breezy, we are hot out there. Not much going on other than those temperatures getting into the upper 90s, maybe even some low 100s. And then by about 8, our far northwestern counties, look just west of Yates Center, you can see a few showers. Could see some showers and storms in our northwestern counties late this evening into the early overnight hours. Some of those could be strong to low-grade severe, and then we'll have more thunderstorm chances over the next couple of days, and we're going to get into those in detail in just a moment. Quick check of temperatures again out to the east, considerably cooler, low 70s, and the further west you go, upper 70s and 80-degree readings out there, and heat index values again just already uncomfortable as most of us are in the low to mid 80s. Yates Center at 88 still this morning, so an uncomfortable start to the day to say the least. It's going to be very hot as we mentioned, then we have those rain chances. We're going to get to all that here in just a moment. It's also just about time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after this break. But first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Gail's conversation with the legendary Eddie Murphy about coming back as Axel Foley after 30 years. And the comedian also hints at what returning to the comedy stage could look like. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Tuesday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we're starting in Pittsburgh with Ayla Riddenauer celebrating birthday number 5 with love coming from Momo and Pop Pop.
And a happy 12th birthday to Abby. It says here, we love you so much. Lots of love from Mom and Dad.
And we've got Sydney Meringue in Carl Junction celebrating birthday number 14. Happy birthday, Sydney.
And over in Sheldon, Missouri, a happy 39th birthday to Justin Hancock.
And in Fort Scott, Adam Bayou celebrating birthday number 44. Happy birthday, Adam.
And over in Uniontown, a happy 54th birthday to Jennifer Mason. It says happy birthday from Mom and Dad.
And in Erie, Jim and Lois Carlson celebrating their 58th year of wedded bliss. Says here they were married at St. Bridget's in Scammon.
And over in Neosho, a happy 68th birthday to Bill Punch.
And in Farlington, Robert No celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday.
And over in Nevada, happy 35th birthday to Trisha Pike.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And of course, we want to continue to celebrate these with you. Elise, how do they do that?
Yes, you can go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include any photos and birthday messages, and to also include the day of your celebration, just to ensure that we're celebrating you on the right day.
Absolutely. Now, you are not going to be celebrating this weather forecast today, or really over the next few days, but we do have some much needed rain on the way. It's just coming at an inopportune time. Today on the future track, it is clear, it is hot, it is sunny. Temperatures again going into the upper 90s, maybe even some lower 100s out there. We have have our alert day today because we've got those heat index values 105 to 110 degrees, and we'll have a south-southwest breeze gusting upwards of 30. Now, later this evening, some isolated to scattered thunderstorms, mainly in our northwestern counties by late evening, early overnight. Some of those could be strong, low-grade severe with some large hail damaging wind gusts out there. Then as we head toward tomorrow morning, we'll start to see a few more of these scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. And initially, as you can see, we're looking at somewhat more organized activity tomorrow morning. Excuse me. And then it becomes a little more scattered and isolated as we head into the afternoon. Unfortunately, tomorrow, aside from some pop-up showers, a lot of folks south of I-44 are going to remain dry and hot. So most of us will be upper 80s, low 90s tomorrow, but the further south you go, you may get into the mid, even upper 90s. So do be prepared for some of that heat out there. Then we go into Wednesday night, looking pretty good, maybe a stray shower, and then late Wednesday into early Thursday, we're looking at a thunderstorm complex that's going to be rolling into the area. Now, if it plays out as Future Track is suggesting and we get that bow developing on there, we could be dealing with some damaging straight line winds early Thursday morning as that complex races off to the east. So we do have another risk for strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms as we go Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So it's something we want to keep an eye on. Then the majority of our 4th of July is dry, partly to mostly cloudy skies. It's going to be hot, temperatures back into the upper 90s out there. Then by the afternoon, a couple of stray showers are possible. And then we have a cold front approaching. And on that cold front, we're expecting thunderstorm development. We do have an elevated threat for strong to severe thunderstorms across the area on Thursday, again with damaging winds, large hail being the primary concern. So, of course, the key for setting off fireworks, making your plans, is going to be the timing of this. If it holds the timing that we're looking at now, most of us should be okay after sunset to set off some fireworks. But if it slows down for any reason, if this line doesn't pick up as much speed as we're hoping it will, it could have a bigger impact on 4th of July celebrations across the area. So keep that in mind, but also keep in mind it's going to be bringing an attendant severe threat with it along this cold front, which won't do much for temperatures in the near term, but it'll cool us off a little by Friday. By 7, if it holds this speed, those severe thunderstorms now along this line, almost right along I-44 from Stockton, Lamar, Joplin, Miami, Veneta, with some lingering showers and thunderstorms back behind that. Then, as we go later into the evening, that's when we start to see more isolated shower, maybe a thunderstorm out there. So again, I think most of us at this point are looking okay to set off those fireworks. It should begin to dry out, but there may still be a few lingering showers or thunderstorms out there. So just a lot to keep in mind as we head into Thursday. And again, if for any reason that line slows down, that could have a bigger impact on celebrations across the area. So we want to watch Thursday closely, not just for the 4th, but also for that severe threat. So again, tonight, that low risk in our northwestern counties, a low risk across the area as we head into tomorrow. Bulk of this, though, is going to be with whatever that complex is that comes into southeast Kansas late tomorrow night into early Thursday morning. And then we have that elevated risk over the bulk of the area as we head into Thursday for strong to severe thunderstorms. For today, our UV index again is at an 11. That is extreme. So that means burn time is less than 10 minutes for unprotected skin. So if you don't have to be outside, don't. Heat advisories across the area, most of us through 8. Oklahoma excessive heat warnings and heat advisories through 9 this evening. And of course, our heat risk potential is in the major for the majority of the area. Clear skies in Joplin right now, warm, 77, feels like 79. That south breeze for now at 13, but again, will occasionally gust upwards of 30. Got a heat dome over the west, so to the east, again, a little cooler, low 70s. The rest of us into the upper 70s, right around 80 degrees. And then we have dew points that are extraordinarily uncovered. Look at Chatopa's dew point, 79. And so when you look at the chart, that puts it off the chart. So muggy, soupy, and just plain old miserable out there. And that's leading to heat index values. Again, the further west you go, going into the low, mid, and like Yates Center's been all morning, the upper 80s. We'll have another look at your forecast, news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear how a Texas man was given a second chance to turn his life around, all thanks to a local business owner.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Joplin fireworks stand benefits people looking for a new start in life. It's run by Joplin's Forge Center for Virtue and Work. Ford Center is a Watered Gardens Ministries program that helps struggling men develop virtue and a strong work ethic. Purchases of fireworks from Ford Center help to fund the program. America's Best Restaurants Roadshow made a stop in Fort Scott to visit Brick Street Barbecue. Brick Street Barbecue was chosen to be a part of the roadshow and record an episode for their web series. Lunch was open to exclusive guests from 11 to 2 p.m. while the filming of the episode was in progress. When the episode is ready, you can view it on their YouTube page for America's Best Restaurants Roadshow. And the KOAM flag swap is happening just in time for the 4th of July. You can join us today at the Arvest Bank at 2023 East 32nd Street in Joplin from noon to 1:30. You can stop by during that time to trade in your old tattered American flag and receive a brand new one for no charge. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we have an alert day today. Dangerous heat, highs upper 90s, heat index values approaching 110 degrees, sunny skies, and a south-southwest breeze gusting upwards of 30. Clouds gradually increasing in the evening. Our northwestern counties will start to see a few scattered thunderstorms, and some of those could be strong, low-grade severe, mid-upper 70s for our lows. We'll have another round of strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms tomorrow night and scattered storms throughout the day on Wednesday. And then we're watching a cold front bringing a severe threat as we head into Thursday evening. So definitely want to keep an eye on Thursday, not just for the severe weather, but for your 4th of July plans as well. Cooler on Friday, more pop-up storms next week.
All righty. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making All-American rookie bars in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Yesterday's historic Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity is raising plenty of questions. Next on CBS Mornings, John Dickerson and Ricky Kleiman provide the political and legal answers.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, the Joplin Humane Society is helping make fireworks season easier for pets.
And Charlene Patton joined us in the studio with another incredible recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.